Hello, hello, YouTube friends. I'm really excited because today I finally have the chance to interview John Lee Dumas. Now, if you don't know John, let me just tell you a little bit about him. So John Lee Dumas is the founder of the award-winning podcast. I know you've probably heard of it, Entrepreneurs on Fire. He's talked to incredible people, Tony Robbins, Barbara Corcoran, Gary Vaynerchuk, and me. I got to be on his podcast too. He gets over 1 million monthly listeners and now is the author of, you got to hold it up, John, The Common Path to Uncommon Success. Welcome.
I am so excited to be here. I mean, if I could interview you on my podcast every day, I would. Your energy, your vibe, it's fantastic. Thank you for having me on your show.
Oh my gosh, today's all about you. And I was so excited to read your book because it covers so many topics. And so when I wanted to sit down for an interview, I actually wanted to go into my favorite chapter. Are you ready for my favorite chapter of all the chapters?
I'm excited.
Okay. So my favorite chapter, and I read it and I was like, we've got to talk about this, is chapter number 6, which is join or create a mastermind. Now, I want to first ask, what is a mastermind for my audience? If you could define it for us.
So I'm very clear about what the right mastermind is and about what the right accountability group is. That is a 3 or 4 person group of people who are peers, who are people that are going to support and guide you on a weekly basis to achieve your goals and grow your business and hold you accountable. That's a mastermind.
Okay. And I love this because you are the only person I've ever met who actually talks about it in an inspiring and practical way. I think masterminds are a game changer. I've been in a number of masterminds over the year. I think I joined my first mastermind, which wasn't even called that, 12 years ago. And I think that they're one of the biggest reasons for my success as well. So I just wanted to ask you about your history with Mastermind. When was your first one? Did you start it? Did you join it? Was it horrible? Was it great? Was it awful? Have they all been good? Tell me everything.
I've been in some great masterminds. I've been in some terrible masterminds. And listen, the mastermind that I refer to, I think everybody needs to be a part of the specific mastermind that I talk about in step 6, chapter 6, on how to create or join the right mastermind. You can be in other masterminds that maybe meet once a month or kind of more sporadic, have like these rules or that rules. But I think that every single person has to be in at least one of the masterminds that I specifically refer to in step 6, chapter 6. And for me, the first time I was in that kind of masterminds where there was actually 3 of us, which is the minimum, 4's the maximum. So again, I'm very clear on the numbers. And that is a mastermind that I started and was a part of for 5 years with Greg Hickman and Rick Mulready. These were 2 guys that I was very much friendly with. I was also really respectful of them. I respected what they did, how they did it. I admired their business. I admired their opinions. And they were my peers in the industry. They were in different verticals per se, which actually was kind of beneficial. So I could see outside of the box. I wasn't just hanging out with a bunch of podcasters. I was hanging out with people that had different expertise and specialties. And for 5 years, starting in 2013, we met every single week for 1 hour. We rotated who was on the hot seat every single week for that 1 hour time frame that we were on. And we went through a very specific schedule within that 1 hour that we had. Attendance was 100% mandatory. You literally got 1 free pass per year. If you were on vacation somewhere, you had to work in your vacation, that mastermind, because there was 3 people. We were all counting on each other and we were going to make it happen.
Okay. So I love how specific this is because that's what matters. I've been in some masterminds that have been game changing, and I have been some masterminds that were like draining.
Waste of time.
And so getting this right is crucial. So if you're watching right now and you're thinking, yeah, maybe I could use this, the answer is you could definitely use it. And here's how you could definitely use it. It's not only accountability. People usually think of masterminds as just accountability, but as you bring up, it's about having people whose opinions you respect. And that's critically important because I don't know about you, John, but I have what I call dream killers in my life and dream builders. Dream killers are the ones who are naysayers, negative Nancy's, nothing will work, that will work, someone's already done it. And then I have dream builders, and dream builders don't blindly support you. They just ask good questions. And I think that that's the key to a mastermind. And I want to talk about the agenda. I want to talk about the structure. So I like the one you suggest in the book. And here's what I have, a little summary of it here.
Sure.
So for the first little bit, the host welcomes everyone. And the host is the previous week's hot seat member, which we're going to talk about in a second, and keeps everyone on track time-wise. Tell me why this is important. Why do we need an agenda?
Listen, if you don't have an agenda, you're going to get on and then you're going to be like, oh my God, like, did you hear what happened to my baby? It turned 1 year old last week. And you start going down rabbit holes and you look up, it's like, it's 1:23 p.m. and we're here till 2. We haven't talked about anything meaningful business wise. And if you're like myself and Vanessa, you got stuff to do. You've got another appointment at 2 p.m. You're doing this, you're doing that. You need an agenda. You need a timekeeper. You need somebody who's going to be in control, who's going to make the most value of those 60 minutes. You're going to use those 60 minutes for what they're meant to be used for, building your dreams. I love your phrase, dream builder. I'm going to use it. I'm going to give you credit twice that I'm stealing it and it's mine forever.
I love it. Oh, I only get 2 credits. Oh, they better be good ones then.
They'll be big credits.
Okay, good. I'll take it. Okay, so I also want to say here, I'm going to totally come out and confess. I am addicted to social niceties. And that's because I'm addicted to trying to be liked, right? I want to be likable.
You're a people pleaser.
Right. So here's what happens at the beginning of every Zoom call. And this was what happens at your masterminds if you don't have a timekeeper. You want to be nice. How's your fam? I saw the vacation photos you posted on Facebook. Oh man, those COVID numbers, they're the worst, right? So my social nicety self feels obligated.
Yeah.
If you have a timekeeper or you are the timekeeper, you can blame the agenda. So for someone like me, that was actually, I realized as I was reading your book, I went, oh, that's what I was missing in 2 of my masterminds is we all wanted to play nice and no one was host. So what happened was it was like 20 minutes in, we had all checked in on each other's kids. We had all checked, how's your mom doing? No. So now I realize that by having an agenda, you can say, sorry guys, got to get started. Okay. I want to welcome everyone. We're going to get right into it.
That's the way you have to look at it, by the way. I love that you use those words. You can blame the fact that you have an agenda. You can blame the fact that you have time and you can just be like, listen, guys, I know we want to catch up and you know, and socialize. And I know we want to just like, you know, gossip, but obviously we have an agenda we all committed to. Let's dive in. Now that just took 15 seconds. Now you have 59 minutes and 45 seconds to get down to business.
Gosh, math too on here, John.
I know, pretty much like woo woo.
Okay, so blame the agenda. Make sure you have a host. They are the timekeeper. Then next, what happens is hosts ask everyone to share wins from the previous week. Now, this one I did do also in my mastermind, and this is critical because what happens a lot is we're afraid to brag, right? We're afraid to toot our own horn, but what better time to actually take stock of your wins than with the people who you respect? Did you find that? Do you like feel nervous talking about yourself?
No, I never do, to be honest. I know a lot of people do. I'm just being honest with you. That's never been something I've struggled with. But I want to be clear, an additional reason for this, and this is really critical and really important, is that you set goals in the previous masterminds and that you are going to accomplish in the 7-day time frame. This time for wins is to prove and to brag that you actually accomplished that goal that you set. So you know for those 7 days that you set that goal, it's tick, tick, tick. Every day that goes by, you know that, hey, I'm going to have my 5 minutes to talk about my successes, which is going to specifically be, did I or did I not accomplish the goal that I said I was going to accomplish within the 7-day time frame that I gave myself to accomplish this meaningful business goal to build my dream. By the way, I'm going to give credit to Vanessa Van Edwards for that because it was amazing. So that was one of your credits right there. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to give you credit on your own show. It doesn't count. It doesn't count. It doesn't count. But that is the time that you use to brag about yourself, to talk on yourself, to say, this is why I had a big success. And you hopefully, and this is why you have the accountability group, you felt obligated to actually accomplish that goal that you set for yourself. And then once you've proven that to your peers that you know, like, trust, and respect, who are going to hold your feet to the fire if you don't accomplish that, you then can say, oh, and I had these other 3 successes that were really awesome as well. So you have time, you have 5 minutes to share multiple successes and to really, you know, share some cool things that are happening in your world. And if you want to slide in the fact that you also had time to take, you know, your child to the opera, and like that could be a success win in your 5 minutes that your timekeeper is holding you to.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm going to come out and say this, which is there was times where I was absolutely shamed into completing my goals. Like I would watch and be like, oh, Mastermind is tomorrow. And I did not achieve my goal. And I would force myself to do it because I didn't want to get to my slot, my minutes of slot, and be like, well, I just didn't do it this week. So that works, right? Like knowing that you have that time and that you got to fill it and it can't be lame.
If you're the only one that's holding you accountable, you will procrastinate. You will put things off. You will not accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish. And it's a snowball effect, Vanessa. Like it is literally a snowball effect of like, because you didn't accomplish this goal this week, it pushes everything back. And it's the opposite effect. If you actually accomplish goals in a meaningful time frame, your snowball effect works in the amazing direction of momentum, success, traction, wins.
Those are all my favorite words. Say them again. Traction, wins. What were they?
Momentum, traction, success, wins, people pleasing. No, I didn't say that. Just kidding.
I love all those win words. Achievement words, friends. By the way, there is a study that shows that even reading achievement words before a task makes you double the motivation you have to work on a task. So just watch us before you do your task or before you do your mastermind.
Ding.
Okay, so once everyone shares their wins, there is a rotating hot seat. Tell me a little bit what this means and what that person does.
This is why it's minimum 3, maximum 4 people. You need to be on the hot seat at least once a month. If it's 3 people, obviously you're on once every 3 weeks, which is awesome. If it's 4 people, you're on once a month, you're in the hot seat. If you start getting 5, 6, 9, 10 people, that means you're literally on the hot seat like a handful of times a year. That does not really move the needle for you. You need to be on the hot seat. That means you're going to be taking the meat of that entire mastermind session, talking about your biggest struggle, your biggest challenge, what you most need help on, and getting really thorough, really deep. You got time for this. So yes, there's a timekeeper on this, but it's not like the clock is ticking because you got a lot of time to talk about this. You are the focal point. You are the spotlight. You don't have to feel rushed. That's the beautiful thing about this because you are the spotlight. You are the hot seat. So you don't have to feel like, oh my God, I don't want to talk about too many things here because I got to pass it on to the next person because there's only so much time, or there's always that one person that just goes on and on and on when it's not even really their spotlight. Now, you guys keep to this agenda and boom, you get the 45 minutes and it's all focused on you, your problems, your struggles. And then your 2 mastermind partners or your 3 mastermind partners are going to spend that entire time grilling you, asking questions, giving their advice, letting you know what they think you should be doing and all these different things so that you are able to fully come to a conclusion and a decision and an order of operation for you for the next 7 days.
Okay. So you actually give in the book 3 kind of questions to like, if you're having trouble with what to say in the hot seat. They are, what is your challenge and how can the mastermind help? What's the end result you want to have from today's hot seat? 3, are there any introductions or resources that would benefit from this issue? And I highly recommend, please, please, please go pick up the book. I'm giving you one section of one chapter of the magic in this book. So there's a lot more details that John gives. You also give case studies and stories of different masterminds and how they've worked. So whether you're a surgeon or a lawyer or an entrepreneur, these different case studies are going to work. So please, please go pick it up. But those are the 3 that you can use to kind of munch on the hot seat. I have one more question for you, John, which is, if someone is thinking about a mastermind or they're in a mastermind, who should they think about asking in their life and who should they not think about asking in their life?
You need to remember this truth. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This is Jim Rohn. It is true. I end every single one of my episodes by saying, hey, Fire Nation, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You've been hanging out with VVE and JLD today. Keep up that heat. And I mean it because you've been hanging out with us. So your average is pretty awesome right now. Let's get real. I mean, VVE is in the house. Hello.
And my daughter's downstairs. So that's another awesome person.
Boom. Is she VVE as well?
She's SVE.
Oh, that's even actually cooler. Don't tell her I said that. But
okay, I won't.
So no, it's really critical to say, listen, I am interested in being in a mastermind with people who I know are going to raise my average, who I know are going to have this same kind of mindset of abundance that all ships rise in a high tide. I need people that I know, that I respect, that I look up to, so that I don't want to let them down. I need to look for people that I know are going to hold my feet to the fire, and they're not just going to be nice to me. They're going to actually, if I need them to be, they're going to be mean to me in a way that's like encouraging, but like strict, like, hey, like you need to get this done. Like you're failing yourself and you're failing us as a mastermind, because that's the case. When one person's failing in a mastermind, they're failing the whole mastermind. And again, you want people that are in the same world as you. They have to understand like what you're doing, but they can be in different verticals. Like again, I was in the podcasting space. Rick Mulready was in the Facebook ad space. Greg Hickman was in the mobile mixed space. Like we could be in different verticals and still really help each other out because, you know, we are looking at things from different angles. We're able to pull each other outside of the box and kind of see things from that angle. So that's your mastermind. 3 people, 4 people max, follow the agenda, make it happen.
And I would add one more thing before we wrap up, which is when you're thinking about the people you want to be in your mastermind, you want to think about people who you are aggressively curious about, because you're going to be deep diving with them. And the biggest part of being in a mastermind is not just what you get, but what you give. And so if you're like, oh, that business bores me, or I don't really understand that business, or I don't really believe in that business, do not do it to yourself and don't do it to them. That's unkind and unfair. So I want you to be aggressively curious. Think about the people in your life. You're like, I really want to figure out like how they make money, what they do. I'm really fascinated by their background, by their history. I want to help them solve problems. That way you are going to contribute more to them, and that will only come back to you. So let's sum up. Pick 3 or 4 other people you want to meet every week for 1 hour. You want to start with someone who runs the time clock and welcomes, wins for everybody. Someone's in the hot seat and you rotate that hot seat and talk about your biggest challenge. And I always like to end with, how can we help? That's how I like to usually end my masterminds. That's my bonus ad there. John, is there anything I can do to help you?
I'm just grateful that you were able to let me come on, share some knowledge with your audience. I'm really glad that you got some value out of that chapter as well. And I would just share for people that listen, this book is a culmination of the 3,000 successful entrepreneurs that I've interviewed. This isn't my genius. This is the genius of Vanessa and the other 3,000 plus entrepreneurs that I've interviewed, that I've learned from over a decade. And I put it into a 17-step roadmap to financial freedom and fulfillment. And we just talked briefly about one of those 17 steps. If you want all 17 steps to get to your version of uncommon success, visit uncommonsuccessbook.com.
Okay, I'm going to put all those links in the description below. I'm also going to put a little summary below. John, you're amazing. I cannot wait to hear how the book does. It's going to blow up all the lists. I just know it. I know my audience is going to go support you because this has been amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Air hug from here.
Air hug.
Here. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.